Good evening. We share a bank account with our mothers, and that's everything you need to know about us. And welcome to the Exploding Barbed Wire Deathcast, brought to you by the Cheap Heat Champions and presented by So What's the Catch? Let's get a rolling. There's some things to talk about this evening. Yesterday, on day one of Raw, we saw the return of the man, the myth, the legend, The Rock. After a traditional foreigner enters the arena and slams Americans bit presented by an also returning Jinder Mahal, we got The Rock himself coming out to defend the WWE Universe. Rock came out and played all the hits. We got Jabronis, we got It Doesn't Matters, we got Crowd Control. We also got The Rock hinting at he's coming for the Tribal Chief or the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Did The Rock just hijack Cody Rhodes' chance at headlining WrestleMania this year? Rollins, what do you think?
So I've heard two reports on this. One, this match could happen at WrestleMania, but I've also heard that because Elimination Chamber is happening in Australia, and I think it's going to be in front of like 70,000 fans or something, that the match could happen at Elimination Chamber. I think it would be stupid to do this match at Elimination Chamber because who the hell is going to get up at 6 a.m. to watch Elimination Chamber? No, thank you. I'm not staying up to watch New Japan tonight, so I'm no. See, boss, do you have something to say?
I have seen a lot more. I have not seen like an actual like genuine report of Rock versus Roman at Mania. It's all been Elimination Chamber. The only things I've seen are like fans saying, "Oh, yay, Rock versus Roman at Mania." No, it like all of the genuine reports I've seen from actual wrestling news sources point to the Perth, Australia show. And good, they need a headliner like this to make a show at 6 in the morning worth getting up in the morning for. That makes me excited to get up at 6 in the morning to watch Elimination Chamber. I wouldn't watch it if it was just like random matches and then two Elimination Chambers. No, Rock versus Roman gets me hyped, and I do not like saying that about a Roman Reigns match. I absolutely think that Roman Reigns matches are underwhelming at best. But The Rock can bring it, and he will just bring it. Wolf, what do you got?
We complain a lot about tribalism, especially WWE fans slandering AEW. But I would be just as at fault if I was to not say that The Rock is still massively over. That pop he got when he came out last night was unbelievable. I mean, for that reason alone is why he's going to be featured against Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber, and that reason alone is why why that's going to be a very successful event. So I don't think Cody's chances are necessarily over. I think that this is just kind of prep work to sell the pay-per-view before the big pay-per-view. I think the plan is still Cody, Roman, WrestleMania, and on the other side, I think it's going to be Punk and Seth.
I was about to say, guaranteed that we get a two-night event. I would put Punk and Seth night one, which of course will be disappointing to watch. Seth Rollins drop that belt to Punk so they could continue, elevating his T-shirt sales. In terms of Cody, are they ever really going to end the story? Is he going to finish? Is he going to? I feel like his dad post-mortem has a better chance of strapping up before the end of the year than Cody Rhodes himself. Who's
Please,
going
just someone beat Roman.
to
Please, anyone,
I
for
just
God's sake.
at the on the same hand, to be fair, what else is gonna pack? What my kids? What else is gonna put butts into seats like a Rock at WrestleMania? It's like Cena and Austin Theory at WrestleMania. You put it on as a first match, guarantees big pops, big crowd reactions. It was, it was landmark, and I feel like it would be intelligent for them to emulate that again to some regard. Then again, we also have the prospect of CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, which they haven't officially, announced anything for. But
Yeah, I think The Rock could still be on WrestleMania, just not wrestling the main event. I think
I'd
they could.
love to see.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Rock and Randy do something. Because that seems like a match that like you ask just about anyone. Did Randy ever face The Rock at all? Or
I'm trying to think.
like
I want to say yeah, but like I don't
I
know.
want to say like during when he was Legend Killer, when he was the Legend Killer, he faced The Rock or beat up someone close to The Rock, and that got the attention of the People's Champion. But I don't know if they ever had a singles match. If so, run that at WrestleMania.
They started a feud between Orton and The Rock in 2002. There was a couple promos cut. Yeah, it was during the Great One era, but it never materialized. Yeah,
Run that.
yeah, they had 2 matches together officially. One was during Battle Royal on the February of 03 Raw, and then WrestleMania 20. It was a 3-on-2 handicap between Orton, Batista, and Flair, and then The Rock and Mick Foley. Yeah, but never in singles. Never in singles.
There's a singles match you could do, WWE. I know one of you is listening.
I know. I mean, what else are you gonna do with Randy Orton, right?
Right. Rock and Randy. That sells WrestleMania.
Get us started, C-Boss.
Hire me, Triple H. I don't know what I'll make. I'll make good matches that people actually want to see.
Book it.
Okay.
Well, moving on.
H.
Moving on. The world has come to an end after months of exposition. We finally have the reveal, the devil character, and it's none other than MJF's first real and only friend, seemingly not friend, Adam Cole, accompanied by his goons and actual friends, the Kingdom, Roddy Strong, and Wardlow. And who'd have guessed Wardlow, right, guys?
Right.
Lots of moving parts building. Yeah, lots of moving parts on the building up to and plans moving forward. Where do you guys think this is headed?
The only thing I was surprised about was that Kyle O'Reilly was not part of the stable, because didn't we recently talk about that Kyle O'Reilly was like backstage and
yeah, he's been traveling with AEW for the better part of a month now. It might be an instance where they're preparing for him to come back, but every show he's not medically cleared, but he has been in the convoy alongside these guys. Yes, that's been confirmed.
So that was the only surprising part of this for me. But other than that, it makes sense. Here's my thing though is that MJF is probably going to be off AEW programming for a while. So Adam Cole, but who's he going to go after then? Like, I don't know.
There's an easy answer to this, and it lies with all of the people that the devil attacked. They attacked the devil and his gang attacked Hangman Adam Page. They attacked The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. They attacked Switchblade Jay White. Started off with Adam Cole and the Devil's Brigade versus Bullet Club Gold. Adam Cole doesn't even have to wrestle. He's still, as far as I'm concerned, he's still not medically cleared. So you can have Wardlow, Roddy, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett versus Jay White, the Guns, and a returning Juice Robinson. You could start it off with that, and maybe after that feud, if MJF and Adam Cole are still not medically cleared, then you run Hangman Adam Page and The Acclaimed versus the Devil. I've seen a really cool name for this called the Devil's Kingdom. I don't know where that came from, but that was awesome.
You would think that to start Dynamite tomorrow, it has to be Adam Cole, right?
Oh, of course. It has to be.
You'd think.
You'd think, but AEW has a way of doing things, and it's probably going to start off with an insane match where, there's very little gravity.
Oh, you're talking about Orange Cassidy and Dante Martin?
I think that's going to open Dynamite.
I mean, if Orange is booked on a Dynamite, Orange starts the Dynamite. Guarantees that people are going to tune in. Wolf, what do you got on this one?
Except for Beach Break when he was the main event against Adam Cole in that Unsanctioned Lights Out match.
Yeah.
There's like seldom moments that happen in wrestling that are really predictable that still deliver. And like that whole reveal, even though I knew it was coming, was done really well, and because of that, like the artistry of it, I liked it. I'm into it. Had they like not done it that way, had it just been, kind of fumbled, I don't think I would be honestly even want to talk about it. I agree with Seaboss. I think that you got plenty of opportunity to to keep MJ offside, keep MJF off to the side and still use these guys because they have gripes with Bullet Club Gold. I really think that's the way to go here. They already have history, Adam Cole and Jay White. I just wonder when Adam Cole is going to have the boot removed, because like I don't want to start a program and not be able to deliver with the match, because Adam Cole versus Jay White, that would be a really, really good match for Revolution.
And
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
Wolf, you could tie in, the history how Adam Cole got injured in a match with Jay White at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
not saying
Absolutely true.
not
Yeah.
saying it was Jay White's fault in that match, but you could
It could,
still tie that into their feud.
yeah, you could definitely tap into it as storyline for
Maybe
sure.
have like maybe have Jay White, because Jay White is fantastic with like scathing promos towards his opponents. Maybe have him say something like, "Last time we faced off, didn't I injure you?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
what we all know that is not true, and I'm only speaking on the technical side of the Forbidden Door match. Jay White was actually the one that noticed that Adam Cole had been repeating the same 3 moves that they were using to set up the end of that match, because Jay White has worked with a lot of concussion protocol in his history with TNA and Ring of Honor and New Japan. He saved Adam Cole during that match in
Oh,
forcing
absolutely.
him to eat the pin. Yes, that could be used as exposition, but the real question about any of these talents are, where is MJF headed? So as you guys already know, they've removed him from the AEW roster. I can't scream work any louder, for real. Like, obviously there's angles that could be run with contract and injury, contract expansions through injury, which would be one single day. It would be one single day that he'd have his contract extended. Obviously, they could be building up to a 6 to 9 month return and then running the obviously the bidding war 2024. Do you guys have thoughts on that? Is he gonna
So,
is he gonna come back and wreak havoc on Adam Cole? Is he gonna come back in another mask or a double mask and absolutely try to decimate Cole on the back end? Because that sounds like something cool that could happen.
yeah, I think that MJF's being silent. I do think this whole removing him from the roster, it just screams work. Remember, people thought Jey Uso, when he got removed from the WWE's roster, was going to AEW, and that didn't work out. They just removed him because it was all a work, because they were setting him up to be revealed to be the new member of the Raw roster, which that was genuinely shocking. I did not see that coming. But I do think, yeah, MJF's gonna come back. He's gonna talk his bidding war stuff. He's gonna be like, "Hey, Tony Khan, you effing mark, come out here and bring me a new contract, because I got 2 things on my two problems I need taken care of. One, Adam Cole betrayed me, and I don't take too kindly to that. And 2, I want my effing belt back." That's going to be an actual MJF
That's gonna be
quote.
it.
lot
Yeah.
more lot more letters within the F and N.
Motherfucking. That's another $168,000 that Tony Khan's gonna pay for to let a fuck bomb slide on TNT
He's
programming.
gonna
That'll
let
be
2
great.
in the same promo.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, go fuck yourself. The go fuck yourself heard around the world. In the
Yes.
pro wrestling world. You guys have anything else on this one?
I do want. It feels like Roddy and the Kingdom are probably going to go after the Acclaimed.
Great.
And they'll probably be the ones that take the Trios Championships, even though I think it should have been Top Flight and Action and Dre. But nonetheless, Where does that leave Wardlow? That's what I'm wondering. Who does he go after?
Wardlow could go after Hangman.
Yeah, he could go after
Yeah.
Jay White.
True.
Oh, yeah, he
Yeah,
could go after.
Wardlow. Jay
Ooh.
White would be red.
That
Wardlow would have to
that
figure.
screams
He'd have,
banger.
yeah, he'd have to figure out Jay White. It wouldn't be a traditional go in. Me fight small
Powerbomb.
guy, me powerbomb him 20 times. It's done it over with. We've seen Jay White in Japan in matches with guys much bigger than him, Evil and Okada
Oh,
and Lance Archer. All have
that evil match
Oh,
still
yeah. Then Jay White took
ripples.
it. Jay White took him. Evil's
Mhm.
twice his size. So, there's I think that would be a better direction to head and hangman in. But I think they're gonna swing the hangman in other directions, no pun intended.
I
Okay.
would say you could do something with the Young Bucks because of the whole Adam Cole being the leader of the Undisputed Elite or whatever you call him when you had Cole with the Bucks. But
Oh, the Super Click.
yes, the Super Click.
Super Click, yeah.
But we know the issue with the Young Bucks right now, so that's probably not going to happen. But it would be interesting to see that angle be run at some point.
There's something I want to comment on with that statement, Rollins. Like, how quick are fans to forgive Talon when they do things that are so irreprehensibly terrible and awful and shitty and selfish and not within the better interest of the companies that they work for, or just downright, hypocritical, like it's all across pro wrestling. We could sit here and motherfuck the Bucks, as I will continue to do so, for being overgrown man childs. What you guys did was not cool. But at this point, 6 months to a year down the road, it's a time heals all scenario.
And there's wrestlers out there who've done worse things.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Well, while we're on the topic of that, we're going to shift directions. I do have a quick announcement, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the entire channel. When I speak on behalf of the community, I'm saying that we all condemn acts of any violence against the innocent in any form. On the same hand, the internet pro wrestling community can at times become an echo chamber of hate and misinformation, with certain ideologies of promotional tribalism thrown in the mix. It could be a pretty confusing landscape to traverse. A member of our community said it best: until such time that actual legal actions are taken in an arrest, everyone just shut the fuck up about the rumors. And if it's all true, if everything comes down to it being true, fuck Chris Jericho. LaFuron also told us all last week, if you believe the dirt sheets, please stop believing the dirt sheets, for the love of God. And it goes to note that Nick Hausman has already rolled back his comments on what we're alluding to, but this whole topic of conversation, if deemed necessary, is for a much later podcast. Okay. Fair enough. Everyone's satiated with that statement. We're going to move along to the World's End results. Despite a lukewarm and combatively disrespectful crowd, AEW had a very solid effort in terms of viewership results for this event. The official numbers have been yet to be completely revealed, but what we do know is that AEW and Bleacher Report have reported over 135,000 pay-per-view purchases, not to mention that the event itself was within 10% of venue capacity. In terms of just the show, it was a bit of a roller coaster with notable botches and mistakes, leveling out some of the more fantastic and elements and storytelling quips from the evening. Big fan of the Copeland versus Christian match, in spite of the fact that it was also a botch factory. Poor Adam Copeland's eye. It looks horrible, but it was a lot of fun. Rollins, what was your takeaways from World's End? What did you like? What did you not like?
All the matches were extremely predictable. It's too bad or Keith Lee was unable to compete. But I got to talk about that match specifically. Dustin Rhodes, you got your leg destroyed by a cinder block. And then 5 minutes into the match, you're like, yep, I can walk on it perfectly. And I'm like,
Canadian destroyers.
Yep. He's hitting Canadian destroyers. And C-Boss, didn't you and I look at each other and go, this makes no sense? I think you and I literally said that to each other.
Yeah, we were sitting there is Dustin Rhodes really no-selling that injury? Is Dustin fucking Rhodes really no-selling that injury? Are you kidding me?
It was stupid.
It was bad. That was
But
real bad.
overall, if I had to give World's End a grade, I would say C plus. I didn't think it was anything special. I personally don't want them to run this pay-per-view again next year. I would keep the pay-per-view lineup at Revolution, Full Gear. I know this is out of order, but just stay with me. Revolution, Full Gear, All In, All Out, Forbidden Door, and Wrestle Dream. Bring back Wrestle Dream because that pay-per-view was awesome.
I
But-
am legitimately shocked to hear you, of all people, throw Forbidden Door into that part of the conversation.
But even though I didn't watch Forbidden Door, the first one, I did watch the second one, and I thought it was a great pay-per-view. So I would say bring it back next year. But yeah, like personally, C-Boss can attest to this. Throughout the entire Tony Storm Riho match, I'm like, somebody please come out and save this match. Mercedes Moné, Thunder Rosa, somebody. Because I'm just like, this match is meh. Like, it's neither wrestler really did anything that I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Honestly, if I have to be honest, most of the matches felt like they should be on a Dynamite or a Collision. They didn't feel like pay-per-view matches. I have to be honest there.
Yeah, C-Boss.
Yeah. So I have very many opinions about this pay-per-view, but I am going to keep it brief. I thought the first 3 matches, the 2 8-man tag matches, the All-Star 8-man tag, and the Jericho or the Sex Gods and Sting and Darby versus the Don Callis family and Ricky Starks and Big Bill. I thought those matches were fantastic. I thought Miro Andrade was fantastic. But the rest of the matches, besides Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, though the ending, a lot of the rest of the matches fell completely flat. The 2 women's matches, I will say this, Julia Hart versus Abaddon was a lot better than Toni Storm versus Riho.
I use that match as my pinball match because I just don't care about Julia Hart or Abaddon.
Oh, who hurt you, Rollins?
Clearly Julia Hart did.
Oh God, I could hear guys at the hub weeping right now.
I thought the for as big as the C2 was, I really thought the finals match was completely boring. I use that as my pinball break match. I like just tuned completely out. It was boring. I felt nothing from it. But I will say this, the main event between Samoa Joe and MJF wasn't bad. It wasn't the best thing, but it also wasn't the worst. Wolf.
I'm just reading Andre's comment. Julia and Abaddon moved like the Great Khali in there. I listen. I don't know if you guys remember it, Rollins and C-Boss, but like I don't know, mid '90s, WWF used to run these in your house shows, and they would be like themed, right?
They
like,
still do.
I know they do.
I've heard legend. I've heard stories about these in your house shows.
Okay. Well, they were really just kind of like, you know, little pit stops before they hit their big pay-per-views, their bigger towns. But ultimately, that's what this kind of felt like a themed pay-per-view specifically. And Valkner called it out like weeks ago, like about MJF. Like the whole pay-per-view was centered about MJF world just collapsing, or world ending. So I won't lie, I was a little disappointed because I expected a little more from a AEW pay-per-view. Not in terms of storytelling, because usually they reserve that for TV. They will progress storylines, they will conclude storylines at pay-per-views, but they don't really evolve the stories on pay-per-view. Pay-per-views are typically reserved for like one incredible match after another, like a star-studded lineup of matches. And this really wasn't that. But I'm not going to bash it, because there were some moments that I enjoyed, and it was really the latter part of the pay-per-view. It was fucking Eddie Kingston beating Jon Moxley for the Triple Crown. I love that moment. I know, C-Boss, you said you didn't like it, and that's fine. But like that moment's huge to me. Like Eddie Kingston's my hero. He's my spirit animal. I fucking love Eddie Kingston. He's one of the reasons why I still watch AEW to this day. So like seeing him get his flowers with this Triple Crown really made me smile. So after that happened, I was fine with like the rest of the pay-per-view, which was really just one match left, and even that delivered. Fucking Samoa Joe's our world champion, and I said this before. I mean, Samoa Joe is wrestling. I'll argue anyway. I think he's doing his best work ever. Like he's still the Samoa Joe from 2005. Like he still has it, and I'm so glad that Samoa Joe's got that belt. And if you guys caught any of the scrum, Joe gave very short responses to the media questions, and they were just all terrific. So
we're gonna talk about Joe more some more towards our last segment, Wolf. But that's
Cool.
that's a really good.
I
That's
also
a really
have
good.
one more thing to say about the whole Triple Crown thing. I honestly thought that when I saw what the Triple Crown Championship looked like,
The Continental Championship.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
it looks like a toy. It does not look like a real championship belt.
You know, if you really want to break it down to the simplest terms, the championship belts are the toys that they hold that the
That
other
is
kids are
true.
not allowed to.
But
I mean,
but
and
it's like
really,
this one looks a little more toyish. I clowned on the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, the current version of it, for also looking like a giant toy.
so does the NXT belt, dude. Like I can name two belts from every promotion that look like absolute shit. I feel like that's a wrestling tradition.
Most of WWE's belts in the past like few years have, because they all have the same design, and it's all the worst fucking design ever.
Yeah, bring back the John Cena spinner belt. That was the best one.
Thank you.
You know,
I will
Someone
say-
who agrees with me.
yeah,
I
I'm-
will say this about the 8-man all-star tag team match. I do feel like we got some like stories in there. Like, I like the Daniel Garcia part of the equation. Boss, I know I was shitting on him a little bit when we were hanging out, but I did like it.
I'm gonna say this about this match. The one storyline I like coming out of it is everyone got to hit their finisher except Jay Lethal. His got countered, and
Yes.
that was the finish of the match because the Lethal Injection was countered into a surprise roll up from Daniel Garcia. So Jay
Wait, you
Lethal's
didn't say it right.
continuing on his
You didn't-
downward spiral, and
T-Boss, you
his
didn't say it
redemption arc
right.
is going to be great.
Boss, you didn't say it right. It's not just the surprise roll-up. It's the most
devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
But it is the most devastating move in all. Well, what will end a match quicker than a one-winged angel, quicker than a Shawn Michaels super kick, a sweet chin music, a tombstone pile driver? Ladies and gentlemen, it's not the Scorpion Deathlock. It's not the Walls of Jericho. It's a goddamn surprise roll-up. I want to expand on the belt thing really quick. To the fault of AEW, they really haven't done anything in the past 2 years to make their championship titles in any division look anything more like participation trophies. That's just my opinion. If you're going to be holding this, it needs to look grand. I think MJF did the best job of doing it since Hangman, possibly Kenny Omega, but he was holding so many belts at the time. It was kind of hard to look at the AEW World Championship because it was obscured by all of the bigger belts that he held. That's just, again, it was a new company, new promotion against titles that, that's a tangent. But I also want to shit on you two clowns really quick out of respect. We can't dissect we do dissect every single pay-per-view, but we can't tear it down just because topically it wasn't a perfect, pay-per-view. We've been spoiled by AEW. That's a fact. So when we're buying these pay-per-views and watching them, we expect every match is a banger. And even then, not every match is a banger. Even on All In, I could call out matches that, looked worse than some of the things that we got to see at World's End. Yeah,
women's 4-way match was
again,
just...
we have to temper our expectations. I believe I fall in line with Wolf, and this is a it's not, just like Samoa Joe might be a transitional champion. This was a transitional pay-per-view. I find it hard to believe that Tony Khan is going to sit on his hands for 3.5 months, though. I think he's cooking up something else. I think we might get another surprise pay-per-view, which I don't think is going to do anything to work for AEW, in my opinion. Just wait until Revolution, gives time for all these new stories to cook, but we can't stop Tony from being Tony.
That part is true, but all reports are saying there will not be another pay-per-view between now and Revolution. Keep it that way. Like, let the matches build up. That's why going into Revolution last year, we were so interested in the Ricky Starks Chris Jericho match. We were so interested in the MJF Bryan Danielson match. You had everything with Jack Perry and Christian Cage. That had a lot of story to it. I could keep going, but when you give these storylines and these feuds time to build, you get more interested. I've said this on a number of podcasts that we've done. For me personally, I like the non-championship feuds more than the championship feuds, because in the non-title feuds or non-championship feuds, whatever you want to call them, I feel like you get more in depth. You get more personal. It feels like there's more energy to it. I don't know why. Whereas the championship feuds, it feels like they don't go in depth in the story very much. It feels like they kind of keep it surface level. And I'm like, you can dig in so much deeper into this.
Yeah. It's the
MJF
whole
did when
point
he
of
was
it.
feuding with Danielson.
Another
true.
good example would be Hangman and Adam Cole. I feel like that title feud got really personal, but just in general, I feel like the non-title feuds are much more personal, much more intense. It's where you generally get the crazy stipulation matches.
Like Swerve
That's
and Hangman.
bingo.
Yeah, that Texas Death Match. I mean, some title matches could have crazy stipulations. Look at and I hate to bring this one up because that match really was not that good, but the namesake of our podcast, the exploding barbed wire death match at Revolution 2021 between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega.
Sure, but still, I get that feud. It's Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley, so that feud is obviously going to carry the intensity. But
Yeah.
in general, it feels like championship feuds are just very surface level.
It's more like, I want your belt. Give it to me. No, it's my belt. You can't have it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in terms of our most important title defense on the pay-per-view, and I'm going to say this now instead of doing it during the Samoa Joe bit, you can't let Samoa Joe lose the way he did to CM Punk and then make him look like he's an imposing threat to MJF with as ironclad as MJF has been all year long. I mean, he just looked like no one was taking that belt off of him. Every title defense that he had was a banger, and he was wrestling with a busted knee and then a torn shoulder, and I mean, I don't know, man. That's just in my opinion.
That's a part of the story though too, because it's the end of the year. He, defending that title all year long rather, and he just couldn't do it any longer. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that if we can go back in time, we would have changed so much. But I digress.
We wouldn't have injured MJF and prevented the brawl out from happening.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else on this one?
Not really.
Okay. I know that we'll probably pass on this next subject really quick. There was some big news out of New Japan coming into the new year. The end of last year hailed an introduction of the merger that brought all 8 major Japanese promotions together. But in the wake of the new year, we also have a new president and representative director, and it's none other than the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi is Japan's John Cena. A lot of people within the organization weren't thrilled the direction that Takami Obari was steering New Japan in, with the likes of several top talents like Kazuchika Okada and the former representative director demanding Takami step down. This does mean a lot of things for the promotion. Okada wanted, Takami out. He was begging for him on socials to step down from his role because of the quality recently that New Japan, the product, has been producing, as well as several other known and notable talents within that organization, Zack Sabre Jr. being one of them. It's believed that his influence ran out, AJ Styles and Shinsuke way back when as well. He has had a leadership role in this company for that long, but what does this mean, with the ace being in that position? I don't think anyone knows New Japan Wrestling better than the ace. Rollins, what do you got on this?
I don't have a lot to say about this, but I do think this is good for the relationship between AEW and New Japan. Not only because I think it means Forbidden Door is going to continue, but I think we're going to see other New Japan wrestlers coming in, not just for New Japan, or not just for Forbidden Door, but for other programs too. Like we had Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson have a match at Wrestle Dream, for example. Maybe we get, I can't think of any the big New Japan wrestlers off the top of my head, but maybe at like Revolution, we get like David Finlay, for example, coming in, and he gets a match, something like that. So I think I like it for that part of it. But other than that, I don't have a lot.
I'd like to see the GOD crossover, honestly.
That'd be sweet.
Because I love Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. They're both fantastic.
Yeah, Tama Tonga has been spending a lot of time wrestling with El Phantasmo, the Bullet Club rejects. That's kind of been their shtick lately, as they were exiled from the Bullet Club due to Jay White defecting to American Pro Wrestling. I always imagine like the El Phantasmo story about trying to sign with AEW when he re-signed for New Japan. It's funny. He's like, Cody was still present. But he didn't check his WhatsApp, so I re-signed with New Japan. That's funny.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, one wrestler from New Japan I would absolutely love to see on AEW television, the master of Lucha Strong Style himself, El Desperado.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that one. Like I said, I don't know a lot of names, but I do know that one.
He's one of the main reasons why I'm staying up for Kingdom. His match with Hiromu Takahashi for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship is going to be insane.
Takahashi was the one that teamed with Sting and Darby Allin against Jericho, Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki at Forbidden Door last year, right?
Was it?
Shota Umino.
That was Shota Umino.
No, it wasn't. Shota Umino was in the Elite match.
With the BCC, he's an unofficial BCC member in Japan. You're right. The Jericho was against Tetsuya Naito because he has a feud with Tetsuya Naito. Yeah, sorry guys.
You're right.
Yeah, so I crossed the streams on that pay-per-view. Yeah, Naito and Jericho have been on and off feuding for almost 8 years now.
Yep.
So
my mistake.
Los Ingobernables de Japan? Ingobernables de Japan?
It's one of those factions that has a presence literally in almost every major wrestling promotion. So to some degree, I mean, we have a version of it in WWE as well as the Bullet Club, the OC, which is a Bullet Club in all but name. That's a tangent, but I mean, I'm pumped. New Japan with Tanahashi being at the helm means that it does guarantee Forbidden Door. It guarantees that we're going to continue to see New Japan head on an upward trend. The booking for Wrestle Kingdom this year is insane. It really is.
Absolutely.
And I will also be staying up for that. I'm going to be, I stayed up for it last year, but I think
I did as well.
Yeah, dude, it was just 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 to 6:30, baby.
Yep.
So,
not getting any sleep.
Yeah, it's going to be great. That's in 2 days, bud.
I know.
So,
I know.
We'll
I'm excited.
we'll be the only ones on the chat at 3:00 in the morning. So
Everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Everyone's like, shut up, go
Yeah.
to bed.
cheapest pay-per-view of the year too, at a whopping $7.
Yep.
So, Wolf, do you have anything you'd like to expand upon on this one?
To be honest, not really. I'm just kind of getting into New Japan from you guys, joining the community. So it's a plug for our community, man. Like, my knowledge wasn't really that great other than what I've seen in AEW, but hanging out with these guys, I'm starting to really get a good understanding of New Japan. So
I have a tendency to, with C-Boss, of shit once every couple weeks, I'll shit post him things that he's been missing. I'll do the same for you, Wolf, and
Cool.
slide you some banger matches into your DMs so you could get yourself
Yeah.
acclimated with what you're missing out on. I knew that half of the panel here would be half engaged in New Japan conversation, so we could move along to our final real topic of the night, gentlemen. And we have a new AEW World Champion in Samoa Joe. Joe himself has now hold a major title for every promotion he's ever worked in, which is all basically four major promotions in the continental United States. I mean, with Joe at the helm, what does that really mean for AEW?
It's interesting because you've got a number of challengers he can face. Hangman, even though he went 0-2 against Swerve Strickland, but you can't just discount Hangman. Of course, you also have Swerve Strickland in there. What's Will Ospreay going to do when he comes into AEW? He could be a challenger for Samoa Joe. Personally, I would have Samoa Joe retain the title at Revolution, probably against Hangman, but then have him drop the belt to Swerve Strickland at Double or Nothing.
It's about 6 months of holding that belt, which is reasonable. In AEW, that's a transitional championship.
I'd actually do something completely different than you, Rollins.
Start cooking.
Go ahead.
So
Hit me.
I'm gonna have him retain against Hangman at
Revolution.
I'm gonna have him go against Jay White at
Double or
at
Nothing.
Double or Nothing, retain, but it's all in where I'm gonna have him drop the belt to the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. Imagine that pop when in the main event, Will Ospreay holding the AEW World Championship. Dude, it's that makes money in itself. That is money right there. Book it, TK. Wolf.
yeah, my mind's racing after you said that.
It's definitely a good idea. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
D-Boss.
I mean, Ospreay's gonna have to get the world title, right? I mean, he's just got to. I would think like sooner than later too.
He's probably going after Orange Cassidy for the international championship, I would think.
Yeah. Hey, what Joe offers, the original question, what does this mean? It means stability at the top. You got the most stable guy at the head of AEW holding the world title. And do you guys see the new title? It's not really new. It's really the nameplate, the AEW nameplate.
Yeah, they
changed
just changed it to the official AEW logo other than just AEW.
Yeah, and all gold. Yeah, it looked pretty good.
Actually, it does look pretty. It does look really, really good, but it also looks really corporate, like something WWE would do.
I'm okay with it. They have to brand it. It's all, But another question earlier in the pod, how do you start Dynamite? I think you start with the world champion, guys. I think Samoa Joe comes marching down the aisle holding that new title, and then we get the open challenge. He did mention Hangman Rollins at the scrum, so my mind's there too. I think Hangman's going to be his first opponent. It's predictable.
Which again doesn't make sense but AEW doesn't make sense. But again, he went 0-2 against Swerve Strickland. How do you justify a world championship opportunity off of that?
But
he's a former world champion. That in and of itself should give him a chance at at regaining the belt that he lost.
Yeah.
Fair.
Even though it's been almost 2 years since he lost it, and he hasn't challenged for it since. Where was I going with this?
I don't know.
But that could also feed into the Swerve storyline, Rollins. Like, it could piss off Swerve more. Like, how is he getting this?
Oh.
I beat this
Yeah,
guy twice. Like,
yeah,
how
why is he getting the shot before me? I should be getting the shot.
It's interesting because if you remember, Hangman did cut a promo recently saying, "Swerve, I know what you're going after, and I'm going to take it from you." So
Yeah.
that could be. It could be that their trilogy match is a #1 contender match.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Is there a big Dynamite show before Revolution? Like, I know that not Grand Slam. That's Larry came and went.
Blood and Guts?
No,
No,
that's after Forbidden Door, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought there was one in like a special themed Dynamite. I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, there's usually like either one or two. Like you got St. Patrick's Day Slam. Sometimes they
Rager
have
has
Beach Break.
Road
Rager, yeah.
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 I
Oh
was
yeah.
gonna say Fighter Fest, but that's before All Out. That's before
That's
All
summer.
Out usually.
Fighter
That's
Fest
usually
is-
during Shark Week.
Fight for the Fallen.
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
is that? I've never seen that one.
Fight for the Fallen is in August, September.
Didn't they do Fight for the Fallen this year for like the Hawaii fire victims?
They did.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in terms of Samoa Joe, I think it's good for him to be the world champion because it not only validates him going to AEW, but I think it like shows up Vince McMahon a little bit because if I'm not mistaken, the only world championship Samoa Joe got in WWE was the NXT championship.
Which is a world championship. No matter how much the IWC will vehemently deny it, it is a world championship. It is the full name of it is the NXT World Championship.
Which, by the way, quick piece of news: Ilya Dragunov was not medically cleared to compete. So, from what I saw, Trick Williams is putting his #1 contender position on the line against Grayson Waller. And who accepted that match on his behalf? One Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes was the one who attacked Trick.
Yeah.
You didn't hear it from me.
Yeah. We're gonna discuss that on the Thursday pod. Wolf, you hit the nail on the head earlier. You know, in terms of Samoa Joe, how is he not the most stable example of what a world champion should be? He's short on words. He's all for action. You know, there's very little that comes into question in terms of his ability to defend himself, what he stands for, how he defends himself. He looks imposing. He looks like it's going to the type of talent that it's going to be tough to peel that thing off of him. You know, it's going to take someone who is going to go through the ringer, you know, to even get close to that belt. And I do believe that Joe is going to hold this belt until, you know, unless they run another angle where he gets jumped, beat up, has to defend it, you know, injured, something similarly, because they seem to be doing a lot of that in AEW. Because I don't think they're ever going to go back to interim championships. We all know how those worked out. You know, that conceivably would be the only reason I think they'd drop it off of him. But, you know, good for AEW for putting a strap on this guy, you know, for real. Like, it builds on what is already an accredited and an amazing legacy, you know, and it's finally someone actually paying him forward for what he has to offer as a talent.
And that's what I was saying earlier about it's kind of showing up Vince McMahon in WWE because they never gave him the Universal Championship, the WWE Championship, or any of the big titles on the main roster. So I feel like this is Tony Khan kind of sticking it to WWE a little bit. Do you agree with that statement, C-Boss?
I do agree with that statement.
Any more thoughts on that? Or no?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, also a man of very few words this evening, C-Boss. Wolf, you got anything else, my guy?
Oh no, not really. Not on this topic. If I was to respond to you, Rollins, I don't know if it's so much a fu to Vince. I think it's just more of a respect to Samoa Joe because he's just been doing this for over 20 years, and he's one of the OGs, RHOGs. So
Well, even in TNA, man, one of the most respectable things that Joe did in his career, and we can move on unless you guys would like to expand on this. Remember in TNA when the Steiner brothers no-showed Hard to Kill,
mhm.
and Samoa Joe went off script, grabbed the live mic,
Yep.
and he absolutely grilled the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well,
just
Well,
some of the
Kevin
things
Nash was standing right there, right in the
That showed that Samoa Joe, quite simply, was him. And he was like, him and AJ Styles are the reason I am as into wrestling as I am, because both their TNA runs were the greatest thing on pro wrestling television at the time.
Andre says it was Scott Hall,
Hall. It
not
was-
the Steiner brothers.
I gotcha. Always good to be
Oh.
humbled. It was Scott Hall. Damn. It was still
Razor
awesome.
Ramon.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was still awesome. Guys, we're gonna move on to the final segment of the day, the 10 count. Of course, this is the part of the show where you guys get to talk about what you want to talk about and not what we came up with the community and the podcasting area. I prepared nothing for this today, so I'll go avant-garde. Willow Nightingale is doing a cooking competition on the Food Network this week, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. She's a beaming ray of positivity, and I think everyone should tune into it. Rollins, what do you got?
So, quick note on that. That show is called Super Chef Grudge Match. So, it's a show on the Food Network. They bring in two chefs that have some sort of beef with one another, and each chef puts their favorite knife on the line. Winner gets $10,000, and they get the loser's knife. And each chef also brings a mystery ingredient that must be used in the dish, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. But in terms of my 10 count, first of all, happy early birthday, C-Boss. No, I'm not actually going to sing. I'm not going to embarrass your ass like that.
Thank you.
unless you actually want me to. No, I'm kidding.
Please don't.
I do think tomorrow it is going to be boss time in AEW.
Oh, how
Ladies
apropos.
Monet.
Boss time on Boss's birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. That would be very apropos. Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch most of Dynamite tomorrow because I will be down at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse working the game between the Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I love my job down there, so it's okay. Regardless, though, I'm upset that I'm missing this match between Daniel Garcia and Swerve Strickland. I'll just say it right now. I think that's going to be match of the night tomorrow. I really do. What those two can do in a ring, I'm so glad I'm recording Dynamite tomorrow so I can go back and watch it.
My 10 count is gonna be a bit of a sad one. Some news that we just learned today. During a match, Kota Ibushi appeared to be unable to stand as he had injured both of his ankles, and so that's really, really unfortunate. I hope the best for him. I hope he gets okay. I hope he gets the treatment he needs. I don't know if this is going to retire or require surgery. Not retire. I hope Kota Ibushi doesn't need to retire from this. But he still worked a 35-minute match with 2 broken ankles. That is baller.
Can I put a positive spin on that?
Absolutely.
Golden Lovers reunited in the ICU. Wolf.
Wolf, you're muted.
Thank you. So what I wanted to just say real quick is just thank you, Andrade. You know, I know there's a lot of, like I said earlier, there's a lot of tribalism, but Tony, man, you know, his behavior really inspires me to like be more thoughtful and more careful, and just how important it is not to burn bridges, you know, because it ended amicable between both parties. Andrade released a statement today. I was trying to pull it up fast, but I couldn't find it. Just thanking AEW, thanking like, you know, a list of people that work at AEW. And you don't know what's going to happen a year or two down the road. Like these guys could do business again. So with that, just, you know, thank you, Andrade. I would like to see a little bit more of Andrade creatively in AEW. I think there were some missed opportunities, but I really enjoyed like his early run when he was brought into the company. I loved the matches with Pac; those were just incredible, and some of my favorite AEW matches. So if you haven't seen them, you should go back and watch them.
He would have been great as a TNT champion or maybe as the international champion. And maybe you could have put him in a program for the world championship. I
Oh, for
wouldn't
sure.
have been upset at that.
I love Andrade. He's fantastic. He's amazing, and whatever he goes on to next, I wish for the best in his future
Yeah,
endeavors.
I'm gonna double down on that. I read the note that he made and posted it to his socials a couple of hours ago. It was very heartfelt. It seemed very genuine in spite of his indifferences towards the company. He really found a way to go out in a positive manner. You know, everything is temporary, folks. That could be the biggest takeaway from anything that we engage in life. But you know, treat others kindly and with respect on your way out the door. You never know what could happen in the future, as Wolf has already alluded to. Guys, it looks like that's the show, unless anyone has anything else to add to that.
No.
No. Okay, so I want to thank everyone that showed up in the live tonight. I do appreciate, of course, the panel. All of you are always here to support the cause and the pods and anything that we do put out. If you guys want to continue to engage the viewership, engage in the conversation, we have the links to our Discord down in the description box. I'm not going to do the subscribe and hit the notification bell. Y'all know that's what the us streamers expect you to do at some point, but you don't have to. You're welcome to just show up and listen to us talk shit. And with that, good night, folks. Farewell. I bid you adieu, and sayonara. See you on Thursday.
Bang.